Shopify have just released their Summer 2025 edition, and it's a big one for developers on the Shopify platform, with the biggest star of the update, something called Horizon. If you remember about 6 months ago when the last edition came out, we spoke about how theme blocks had just gone live, but Shopify were yet to showcase the power of theme blocks in one of their own themes. Well, today Shopify have done it, and they're calling it Horizon. Similar to when Shopify announced Online Store 2.0 in the year 2021, I think the term Horizon is going to cause some confusion amongst developers and store owners alike. When the Dawn theme came out in 2021, for sure it was coded differently to the previous debut theme, but the main feature that Dawn had over the previous themes was its use of JSON templates, allowing sections everywhere. Likewise, while I'm sure there are some interesting coding patterns in the new Horizon theme for developers to look at, it's the new features to the online store sales channel itself that is the most exciting development within this update. And within this video, I'm going to break down what these new features are and take a look at what's behind them. Let's get started. Okay, so like I mentioned at the top of this video, Horizon is simply a new set of themes from Shopify to predominantly showcase some exciting new features to the online store editor. So to drill this point home, I'm going to show you these features on a non-Horizon theme to just make sure you understand these updates are mainly online store editor updates, not something you specifically need Horizon themes to do. First, a few small but handy new features. Number one, you can now right-click on a section or block in the visual area of the online store editor and have access to a few handy options. For example, you can now navigate directly to the code file of that section or block, duplicate the section or block, add sections before or after a section, as well as add blocks before or after a section. The two new features that I want to make note of here are section copy and paste and duplicate. Previously, in order to copy and paste a section, you would have to manually copy JSON code from one JSON template to another, something that the merchant typically wouldn't do themselves as it demands a certain level of understanding of JSON code. Now, instead of having to copy and paste code across code files, merchants can do this in the online store editor, and this duplicate option essentially lets them do a copy and paste within the same template. The second feature I want to draw your attention to here is the rename option, available in the menu, as well as clicking on the name itself on the right-hand side panel. If you're a Shopify developer like me, you should be aware that this name generally comes directly from the name field of the section schema. So where is this new name being stored? Does it actually change the section name itself? The answer is no. As you'd probably expect, the actual name of the section remains the same, but the new name for the particular instance of the section in the template is stored in the JSON template under this optional name field. The next feature I want to draw your attention to is this super handy visible if property for input settings. If you've ever wanted certain settings to only show based on the selection of another setting, I know I have, this one's for you. Now, in order to prevent a setting from showing based on another setting, you simply write the conditional as you would a liquid tag, but with the double curly brackets inside this visible if field. Now you'll see the setting show and hide based on the value of the other setting. Very handy. Next up, AI block generation. From Shopify's promo video, this looks to be pretty incredible. Let's copy some of the examples from the promo video to find out. In order for this option to show up, we just need to add the special @theme type block to the list of block types in the schema. However, as the error message says here, theme blocks and section defined blocks cannot be used together. So I'll have to add this block type to a section that doesn't have what are now called section defined blocks at the moment, this custom liquid section. I'll also need to write some liquid so that it shows up in the section. There we go. Remember guys, I'm showing you this on the Dawn theme to demonstrate that you can build these features into any theme. It doesn't have to be a Horizon theme from Shopify to take advantage of these features. Just wanted to make that clear. With the special block type added, the generate button will now appear, allowing me to AI generate a block. Let's try it ourselves. Okay, not bad I guess, but not exactly as beautiful and functional as the demo. What about a countdown timer block? Okay, it took about 5 minutes, but here is the result. Slightly less sexier than the promo video. Okay, final example, an airport split flap board where each letter animate to appears. I'm not sure that's correct English. Bit of a typo there it seems, but let's see how this goes with this one. Clearly, the AI block generation is not as amazing as Shopify's promo makes it out to be. Let's now take a look at the code it generates. At the top, you can now see the prompt used to generate the file, the scoped CSS, the liquid and HTML inside a web component, the JavaScript with the web component definition, and the schema. Everything is there for us to modify if we so choose. Pretty cool, but in my opinion, not as amazing as Shopify have made it out to be in the promo. And as Ed points out in his video on Shopify Editions 2025, you can't read the output code before writing a follow-up prompt. And once you generate the code, you can't go back to writing more prompts. Not ideal. The next two features to cover are related to when we add new blocks to theme block enabled sections. Section previews when adding new sections have been around for a while, but now you'll also be able to see a preview of blocks before adding them in the customizer. And because there might be a lot of blocks to choose from on any particular theme, blocks now have categories which you can set in the schema presets, just like with sections. Finally, if we take a closer look at Horizon, you can see the two new layout blocks. Group we looked at previously on this channel, but accordion and spacer are also pretty self-explanatory from the names. For accordions, we have always typically used blocks, but now that nested blocks are a possibility, you can also have an accordion as a block and each row a block nested within a parent accordion block. Spaces are a bit more novel. As a developer, I typically wouldn't add space like this, but it looks to be a pretty handy way for merchants to add space to their designs that they create in a no-code fashion via the online store editor. So this pretty much covers all of the new features to the online store editor that Shopify have released alongside the new Horizon theme. Of course, if we take a look at the theme itself in our code editor, which I'm looking to do in a future video, there are more things to observe behind the hood, but the big change here is the unprecedented boost in theme customization possibilities that nested theme blocks now provide. Like I mentioned at the top of this video, this is very reminiscent for me of Online Store 2.0 in 2021 when Shopify introduced JSON schemas, providing us the ability to add and reorder sections within any template. I'm just curious now if Horizon is the new default theme for new Shopify stores. Let's find out. So it seems like Dawn is still the default theme, but who knows if that will change in the near future. For now, I'm going to end the video there, guys. My final thoughts. Right now, as a custom theme developer building for clients, I don't see how this will change my work too much at the moment. Of course, this is a huge update for developers making themes on the theme store, as there's so many more ways a merchant can modify their theme, and a theme on the theme store will need to be robust enough to be able to handle it. But for completely custom dev, the only thing I'm thinking of right now that this might help for is when I need to have multiple lists of blocks within the one section and I would like to separate them from one another. Having two groups of nested blocks could help with this, but at the end of the day, I believe this is largely an update for non-technical users. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments. And for the students or viewers considering becoming students of ShopifyThemeDeveloper.com, the answer is of course yes. I will be adding any updates required to the relevant modules of the course so that the course reflects these changes. If you haven't already, check out ShopifyThemeDeveloper.com to dive deeper into this field, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.